What's up, guys? Welcome back, fellas, to another True Crime for Boys, your solemn Sunday Noid stream. How's everybody doing? Got a great show all plotted out for tonight. Plenty of exciting things on the docket. Welcome back, fellas. Happy Sunday. So yeah, we actually got a case to dig into tonight. Not only do we have a case to dig into tonight, but we have a bunch of gub guys to check out too. We got a full night ahead of us. We got a bunch of gub guys, courtesy of listener Sarah, who sent a bunch of gubs on Instagram. Plus, we have a case to dig into, the Oklahoma City bombing. What happened there, folks? Me and my wife's anniversary, but I told her to fuck off because my show's on. Let's go. Let's go. Priorities. Look, I gotta get the gesticulation cam all set up here. Let's do some tests. All right, we're good. We are good. Welcome back, fellas. Another Noid Sunday. The second, third best day of the week, probably. Oh, perfect. Got my little finger tense perfectly in frame. Let's go. Not familiar with OKC, but it's odd that witnesses claim seeing two individuals, but FBI Tim acted alone, and also the explosion seems from inside the building rather than a truck. Second best. Yeah, let's not get carried away. It's second best at best. Everyone knows you get married to the homies. So true. Yeah, I'm coming into OKC pretty fresh, pretty tight, pretty nubile. I don't know shit about it. I thought that there was some guy with a truck who blew up a building for reasons unknown. Or for reasons known, possibly. But apparently, there might be something more to the story. My man's fresh in OKC, yeah. Freshest young buck in Oklahoma City. So yeah, do we got anybody knowledgeable about coming in with some predetermined notions of what went down in Oklahoma City? Because yeah, I mean We'll hit some gub guys, then we'll get into the case. A little overview. My understanding is he was pissed off about Waco, so he did it. But were sinister forces involved? That's what we're going to try and find out tonight. Was there more to the story? That's what we'll be looking into. I should turn off this filter, actually. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I figured you want to get a good overview of the story. Where better to go to the most knowledgeable guys in the room, the FBI. Who's going to know better than them what really went down? The FBI. Who's not even allowed to lie about it? The FBI. My dad was a big-time Waco truther. What's the truther take on Waco? Is there an esoteric reality to the Waco situation? Did anyone in the Discord happen to watch that video by Pandox I sent in? Is it one of these ones? Yeah, I have not watched them, but I do have the videos that people sent all queued up, all ready to go. Boing. So I thought we could check, yes, that exact video. Chilling. Is it chilling stuff? There seems to be a lot of stuff about Mr. Yeeky, who I've never even heard of. Did he do it? Did he actually do it? Is that what's going on? We'll get into it. Please show respect to the FBI website, please. Oh, of course. We're just here to get a brief... Oh, let's go. Absolute unit of a man. What does Barry Black have to say?
You look at this, you show up on a scene like that, and clearly it's huge. I was in Waco during the first Trade Center bombing. And as a bomb technician, you kind of keep track of those sorts of things. So this was clearly, from inception, a unique and major event.
Thank you. My bosses took a long time to make this page. They did a good job. It's a very clean aesthetic. No notes. It's looking good. It is. I was a Norm Groid on OKC until that vid. No, they whacked Yeeky for knowing the Trevuth. What is the Trevuth? Before we get going, before we look into anything and do any research whatsoever, we should figure out what our opinion on the case is from the start. I think that'll make it cleaner and easier going forward if we can figure out what we all think, what actually went down before we, waste our time with further research. But did Timothy McVeigh do it? Is he a patsy? If he didn't do it, which I'm pretty sure he didn't, then who did? The FBI, the ATF, the Clinton crime family? Someone above them? That's what we should figure out before we even bother digging into it. But yeah, this agent is Richard Jewell-coded. Great movie.
How it tied into McVeigh's perception of Waco, and that, linking those two things together was unusual.
Look, well, okay, I said earlier, this is tough. I said earlier I didn't believe that Timothy McVeigh did it, but looking at this photo, his eyes are in shadow. Why would your eyes be in shadow if you weren't full of shadowy secrets and shadowy deeds? This is really throwing a wrench into the whole situation.
Which, of course, we learned later on. But, the scope of it from the time I drove up was obvious. I was there around 9:30, 9:35. It was very early on. As I said, the fires were still burning, and I remember part of that site assessment was just to get a sense of what had gone on.
I'm hearing reports it was Mark David Chapman with a time machine. Who was Mark David Chapman? He's got 3 names, so I'm assuming he's an assassin of some sort. Oh, yep, the guy who killed Lennon. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
You could still see people trapped in the upper floors of the building. And, of course, the firefighters were putting the fires out, and paramedics and ambulance. There were a lot of wounded people, walking wounded. And, it's emotional, but there's a lot to do. And it's not that you're not, empathetic or sympathetic.
Okay, let's read. Let's just get a quick overview for those who've never never heard about it. Or let's look at some gub-gubs first. We got a pretty solid list of gub-gubs here.
And they are against the teachings of Jesus Christ. Jesus said in 1 Thessalonians that the fire department cannot exist. The fire department is evil, they are Satan, and they are against the teachings of Jesus Christ. Jesus said in 1 Thessalonians that the fire department cannot exist. The fire department is evil, they are Satan, and they...
What are we thinking about this? Truth acorn? Or fake acorn?
Barack Obama makes up less than 1% of the population of the United States, and yet is responsible for over 130% of all deportations since 2008. Barack Obama makes up less than...
Hard to argue with that.
Every day I wake up wondering how the fire department's gonna piss me off, and today they pissed me off by starting everything on fire. Every day I wake up wondering how the fire department...
Is this a Goyd or a Boyd?
Satoru Gojo just walked into my house and shot Caillou, and somehow Caillou lived through it, and I don't know what to do. Satoru Gojo just walked into my house and...
Oh my.
Freaking Barack Obama just walked into my house and was like, yeah, I'm hiring you. And I was like, I'm dressed like this, Obama. And Obama was like, that's why I'm hiring you. Freaking Barack...
Is this a bit, do we think? Getting more Peter Griffin with each video.
Whoa!
True. Never thought I'd see an all firemen are bastards dude, but here we are. AFAB assigned fireman at birth. Yeah, this person would make a good fireman. They could do a fireman carry, no problem.
Padres pitcher Yu Darvish to miss entire 2026 season after having surgery on his UCL. He had the brace procedure last week. Padres pitcher
17 more people disconnected from a fucking game of Splatoon. I almost turned up into Veronica Sawyer up in this bitch.
So Instagram's just full of these people, eh? 12,000 followers. God.
Patrick Mahomes should go to immediate federal prison for failing to pay rent in the Waffle House that he illegally opened in my bedroom. And on top of that, he should go to prison for illegally opening a Waffle House in my bedroom. Patrick Mahomes should go to...
Yeah, average baseball fan, real. True, real. Let's see what's going on here.
Atlanta is Atlantis. 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 Atlanta is Atlantis.
Atlanta is Atlantis. Because they're kind of way off base there, to be real. I mean, I can see where they're coming from with Atlanta is Atlantis, but I'm pretty sure we figured out last week that Atlanta is Dublin and Beijing, somewhere in there. I guess this is a black people thing.
Atlantis. Atlanta is 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 Atlantis.
Odd fact, but we don't know definitively where the ATL prefix comes from. Like we don't know what language it comes from. I saw a Gub guy on Instagram that was going blind because he kept messing with his eyes because he was trying to give himself Sherigan eyes. What are Sherigan eyes? Oh. Sherigan is a powerful eye power in the Naruto series, also known as the Copy Wheel Eye, which is a dojutsu eye technique exclusive to the Uchiha clan. Its primary abilities include copying other jutsu, enhancing perception to see at high speeds to read movements, casting illusions through its eye of hypnotism ability. Awesome. How do you attempt to give your... How does one attempt to give yourself these? like, presumably you can shop like a billionaire and buy contact lenses on Temu. I guess would be an option. I don't even know if this is a Noid page. This might just be like your average what the fuck going on in Atlanta ass page.
You just let me see that ass. You won't even let me see that ass. I'm not doing all that. I'm not a stripper, man. You gonna goddamn be my motherfucking stripper. You heard this song? Nasty dancer, dancer for money. Do what you want.
Okay. Alright. Atlanta fucking Amazon delivery. Okay. Is we getting our SNAP benefits back? Yeah, we have words that start with ATL like Atlanta or Atlantis, but there isn't a good historic founding of it. Perhaps a Garthan. That would be my guess. Well, didn't Plato talk about Atlantis? I guess there's not really any well, there's like Atlas. So couldn't it possibly be like Greek? Or probably they got it from Hyperborean, Agarthan, Atlanteans, or, whatever. Did the guy paint his... Yeah, I don't know how one would go about that. You get the Sharingan from Extreme Loss. He just wasn't washing his hands and kept touching his eyes, thinking his bloodshot eyes infected with a Sharingan. Oh, man. It's really being revealed piece by piece through us all being interlinked online. How many people are just yeast, just yeast guys out there. I am the Hokage, sir. But yeah, that's crazy. Hopefully it works for him. All the best. Okay, glancing at this one, this guy seems powerful. This is a powerful look here. Let's see what he's got going on.
And asphalt.
Right.
Okay, that's made from the blood of our children, or the bones of our children.
Right.
When they eat our children, the leftovers go to McDonald's.
Oh shit.
Yes.
The fillet of fish?
Oh no, not the fish. The meat. The burger.
Meat.
Okay. And asphalt.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's distressing. Well, that's pretty distressing. What else does this guy have to say? If he's hard on
You've
that.
been trained to eat a pyramid of fucking food.
Right.
To get fat, so that you produce a child, so they can eat your children.
What a scam.
And
yeah.
You've been trained to eat a pyramid of fucking food.
Damn, called out. His little to get fat. That's awesome.
No Christopher Columbus. There's no this, there's no that, there's no fucking nothing. There's no Bible. There's no God. Because reptiles captured us 7,000 years ago and wrote your Bible. Now, I sat in my church for 20 years.
Right.
Never connecting to God.
Yeah.
I now know that it's not God, a man connected to Jesus. Because Jesus' father was an adrenochrome junkie. So is Einstein. So is major sports stars. Oprah Winfrey is a major child trafficker. All these people have come down. Now, do you understand? Those people have been executed at Gitmo in Cuba, and there are actors in their place or CGI
Right.
that are playing out this movie. This world is about to go gone.
Right.
That's awesome. Do you think these are all filmed? Oh no, he changed his shorts. But all of these ones where he's shirtless with the kind of plaid shorts in front of his pretty based and red-pilled RV. Or is that an RV or like a
My
U-Haul
brother
type?
in California, he's my age. Don't tell
But is this just all from one day?
Talk to him anymore
Right.
because they can't. You want to talk about sports? Well, okay, Matthew or Mahomes. Now I was into football.
Second time Mahomes has been mentioned. What is the meaning of that? W Schizo Truther, real. Boomer Schizos are peak entertainment, real. Next Hughes reviews Little Girl in a Kebab. Yeah, I'm strategizing out what the next one is. I'm thinking of doing an extremely high risk Hugh review that I might permanently basically maim myself if I even attempt, but I think it will be worth it, but we'll see. Maybe I'll take the safe path. Okay, so this is all from one day. Let's see what he's saying this day where he changed his shorts. That's a U-Haul? Yeah.
He's here, guys. He's here. He just waved from his window. Oh, I'm going to tell him about his rise to fame. Finally. I think he's cleaning out his truck. Pretty exciting. What's up, man? Cleaning out your truck or what?
Wait, what?
You cleaning out your truck? I saw the back is open.
Nope, working. Just putzing around. How's it going?
Not bad. How you doing, man?
Good.
Good
Tony
seeing you.
again.
God. Even shirtless schizo boomers have fucking house.
I'm Dan.
Dan, remember? Yes. How you doing?
If you're a boomer, it doesn't matter if you literally don't own a shirt and are fucking schizophrenic. You can still have a
I'm good, man. Listen, I want to tell you, I posted some of your shit on Instagram and people are fucking loving you, dude. They're like, you got like a fan club, you know?
I
It's
don't
like
do
millions
much
of
on
views.
Instagram, but I haven't seen anything. But good, fucking great. That's what it's all about, getting the word out.
Well, it's out, man.
Appreciate
People are begging for more, you know? They're like, interview this guy, podcast with this guy, get him a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, no, it's not me. It's Christian.
Christian is the man.
Christian is the man. He's the one.
Yeah, he's got a house, a U-Haul, a Jeep, and what I think was a Goldwing or something.
That I have all this from, and before, I mean, there are people, David Icke from years ago, and this one and that one, talking about different ETs and aliens and stuff. And
Right.
we never believed it. A lot of it is CIA plants from many, many years ago that gave us a little bit.
Yeah.
And then once Trump won, again, that was all part of the ET plan and saving the world and removing the dome and going on. Christian has the memories.
Christian.
And he's enlightened the world. So
It's with a K, right? Christian with a 21 at
well,
the end?
again,
Or does he have a...
it's now Phalon Thor because things are changing. But Christian 21,
Yeah,
this is where he's from, Sector 21,
Sector 21.
which is basically runs that whole thing. Again, we're in the middle. He's come here to join us, or they've all come to save this realm.
Right.
Okay, and return us back to here. That's what chemtrails are. They're not chemtrails any longer. They haven't been since 2016, 17, when Trump and the military...
Damn, this guy got like prison break tattoos on his fucking U-Haul. Got the whole story on there. Yo, what's up, Goblin? Didn't miss much. We did a little preamble for Oklahoma City. Now we're just checking out some Instagram gubs that Sarah was kind enough to send in. I need to get on the... I just never watch short form videos or videos on my phone. And that's where all the schizos are, but I gotta get into it if you want to track down these people.
Your soul goes to the sun. That's what you see. Your brain sees. You don't see it. Your brain sees it.
Okay.
You go to the sun. Soul. S-O-L. Sun is soul.
Soul, yeah.
Okay? But the reality is that the reptiles control the sun and have for thousands and thousands of years.
Right.
And where that sun leads to, when your soul dies, your meat suit dies, your soul goes to the sun.
Yeah.
And then goes to the Vatican.
Okay,
The
yeah.
Vatican has a direct line to...
Interesting how when the lockdowns ended, these types just moved on to the next thing, like the lockdowns weren't the end of the world. Yeah, I think he has, somewhere on there, he had something about lockdowns on his U-Haul. Do we get a good? I think this one. But I mean, what are you gonna do? That's what I'm curious. What are Q people doing these days? I'm gonna become a Q guy. Go back, read all the Q drops, figure out how they're real. But like, what are those guys up to? I haven't heard about the Sun Soul connection though. I need a minute. Well, yeah, it's Sun Soul Vatican connection.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no alligator alley.
No.
That's a story to wake people up, to bring people to believe that we're fucking finally deporting all these people. Reality is it's been going on since Trump won the election in 2016.
Right.
Then the fake Biden, because it's not the real Biden, came into office because they allowed him to rig the election and then let him fucking...
The one thing I wonder, if you're like looking at orbital chemtrail maps of reality that lizards entrapped us all in 7,000 years ago, isn't like deportation numbers and who's the president kind of small beans compared to that? Maybe not. Maybe it's all part of the plan. Do these people just max out credit cards and never pay anything back? How do they afford all the shit they have? I mean, that is the... If you're a boomer, they just give you money, man. They just be giving you money. They are trusting the plan. True, real, based. I've heard many people IRL say exactly what he's saying here. How do they know?
Explode everything so that when Trump won in 2024, they...
Because he's got his, like, confirmed fat neighbor uploading it on Instagram. So, like, does this guy have online? Or did he just, like, figure it out independently? Much to consider. Hugh, it's a puzzle, and each piece is important. True, real. It's hard to imagine, but a house wasn't that hard to buy 20 years ago. Yeah, I mean, he probably bought his, where's one that shows his big-ass white house?
All is good.
Right.
He probably bought his giant mansion, like, 35 years ago for $50,000. Facebook slop post, maybe. I want my EBT. The scary part is I don't think these people get this info from the internet. Yeah, I mean, because I've heard, not to be disparaging here, but I have heard homeless people at bus stops say basically the same thing. And I don't know if they had access to online. Maybe they were doing it at the library, but it might be, and this is a pretty scary thought. Wrong sound effect, my apologies. It might be that certain people are tapped into something, and it's actually all true and reveal. That's a good point, Hugh. I stopped hearing about politics when I discovered I was an intergalactic super soldier, now brainwashed. Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, doesn't... You'd think the mundane realities, but I guess all the mundane realities...
Why is Trump...
part of the reptilian mega plan. Houses weren't hard to buy 20 years ago because you could say you make $60,000 a year and they didn't check and they would give you a loan. Yeah, I guess that's the thing is now, where was that house? I guess everybody saw it, but let's just look at it again so we can all seethe together. Now, having a house like this seems like something for millionaires. That seems like a millionaire house. But once upon a time, you could walk into a bank shirtless, complaining about chemtrails and lizards, and they would give you a loan, and you could pay off that loan. What do you think this guy? Do you think this guy has a job? He's probably boss. He's the boss at a landscaping company or something. Probably makes $300,000 a year. I get this info from sleep paralysis entities. I tell them they're gay and to fuck off. Based. The collective subconscious of humanity. Well, that is the thing, because it seems like a lot of people, like a a lot of the theories kind of intersect. Official hand signal of True Crime for Boys, Noid Sunday, intersect with one another, you know? Like pretty often when you hear some shirtless Noid guy talking about something, it's pretty rare that it's like completely out of the blue stuff that you've never heard before. Like a lot of this, like he could go on Super Soldier Talk and it wouldn't be like a big revelation to them, you know? So it does appear to like link up, and they're sort of time is a flat circle or something like that. Is this what the Hat Man is about? Are we going to have a Noid stream for Hat Man? Is it Benadryl? Maybe, yeah. I mean, apparently the Hat Man's a thing. I'd be curious to know more if it's, let's just get him to explain it.
Because this shit runs the dome. This world runs our dome. We're in the very center of this dome.
Yep.
There's a valve at the North Pole, which isn't the North Pole.
Right.
That's where the tree of life used to come out and spread all the way up to this dome. And that tree of life linked your brain and your pineal gland to the ether.
Okay.
And I can talk to you wherever you were under that second dome.
Okay.
Okay. And if you're at a different dimension and frequency and you raise yourself up,
Yep.
you can then travel outside of here.
Damn.
Okay?
To the ice ring and everything?
To anything, anywhere. Once we leave this dome and go back here, we all have to heal. Okay? And once you've healed, then you go back to your original land, wherever it was. I'm a Palladian, which is right here, Palladia.
Right.
That's awesome. I'm also a Palladian. They're those like super Nordic, blonde, long-haired people who make like light in their hands and stuff. I do that too, or I could if I wasn't being kept down by the man. Maybe he's renting a room in the house. I think that's wishful thinking, man. I'm pretty sure he owns the house. He owns the U-Haul, the Jeep, the Goldwing. It's all his. It's all his. We should do a Benadryl call-in stream. Everyone takes 700 milligrams, and we discuss the Hat Man. That's a good idea. Is Benadryl the cough syrup one? Can you just go buy that at the store? Also, the Sun-Soul connection is all based on ancient Sumerian religions of old. Yeah, I need to get pilled on the Sumerians. Apparently that's a big important thing. And like they had a demon, Manticore, who invented the nuclear bomb or something. I don't know. I think there's something there that should be looked into. Time is a cube. Everyone knows that. Real. Why would you take excess Benadryl? I don't know. I've never taken Benadryl. I'm not quite sure what the sitch is. Though apparently it makes you see sleep paralysis demons. I don't know. Is the Hat Man on the flight logs? Probably. To see Hat Man, it's a deliriant. Okay. Is it something you can just buy, or is it an illicit narcotic? I'd love to get some multi-dome right now. Real. Who was the first boomer schizo Iggy Pop? I like calling him he is an Iggy Pop type guy. Good call. Who was the first boomer schizo Iggy Pop type guy to say this, though? Where does the legends originate? I don't know. Like, is David Icke the first Iggy Pop guy? Like, is he the first? Because, like, the Lizards come up a lot. Like, the Dome, Palladians, like... Where did he get this map? That's what I want to know. But yeah, I don't know where all this stuff... It's an interesting query, but I do not know the answer. This guy doesn't even get it. Codeine is the cough syrup one. You can meet the Hat Man anytime, just as soon as you wish to, and walk into a CVS. Okay. So you can just buy... So you can buy... Because is Benadryl... That's cold medicine? I have no idea. It kind of sounds like shit if it just gives you, like, horrible nightmares. Does it like get you high or something? It's used for allergies. Oh, okay. I'd rather have sleep paralysis than walk into a CVS. We do not have CBS here. I'm just processing that in my mind to shoppers. In America, you buy it over the counter. It's a very common drug here used for sniffles. Does anyone know what it stands for? Because I forget. CVS? Like I said, I do not know. CVS is shoppers. Yeah, I think Canadian CVS is shoppers. Hey Dan, I love you, brother. You help get the word out. Blushing smiley face. Earth is a bigger plane than we think, but I'm sure glad we met, Heart. Christian 21 and the Rees No Tang Army are proud of you. 1,000,000% simple as. Starry Eye. See you soon. Awesome.
Hey there, Instagram, Tony here. Find us at Love Light and More 16 on Telegram.
Okay, so he's on Telegram.
Christian 21's the man. He has everything. He's given us everything. You need to wake up, world. I have. Years ago, I woke up. It's led me on quite a journey up until this point. So, it's led me to this point, where a few little stickers as a boy and as a contractor led me down this road. Gotta make it quick.
Tesla mentioned. Notable Serbian guy, Nikola Tesla.
What?
CVS is Canadian Vision Shop. True. Dimethyl something, I don't know. Blame Plato for all of this. All the writings of Atlantis really inspired these guys. Let's not blame Atlantis. Yeah, let's not blame it. Let's not blame Atlantis. I like Atlantis stuff because it's like quite plausible. You know, that there's like vast tracts of lost history. That seems pretty plausible to me.
What about that movie They Live? Remember that movie?
Yup, with the glasses.
Yeah, with the sunglasses.
Exactly. That was a wrestler.
Roddy Piper.
Right, Roddy Piper. He was a wrestler.
That was crazy.
And he did bad things.
Yeah. He wore a skirt, but he had to wear a skirt.
The good guys got hold of him,
right,
and made him do that movie.
Okay.
And he then showed you.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Goblin on the taking Benadryl recreationally train. Like taking cough syrup and allergy medication, like too much of it to get fucked up, like sounds kind of bad to me, frankly. Serbia mentioned, based. When I was 13, I stole 3 bottles of DXM at CVS and drank them in the bathroom of the store. I passed out on my bike ride home. Yeah, man. When I was a kid, we had They Live. Nowadays, we have They Them Live. Real, true. What happened? Okay, this guy's cool. I'm going to throw this guy a follow. Let's see what other gubs we got. Ooh, looking good. Walls of Text, Peter Griffin Physiognomy, Fluoride Stare. Let's go.
So I've started to tap into Christ consciousness and like alchemy and manifestations and stuff, and I've started to elevate, and I've been crowned as the king of the collective, and I've tapped into a language. I don't know what it is, just like
What do we think about this? sounds favorable. Everything went black for me, and I was fully convinced I was about to die. Yeah, this sounds like shit. I feel like taking Benadryl and stuff like that, like, you know how when you try rare and exotic meats, they always end up not being as good as the normal ones that people eat? Like, the weird ones are never better than, like, pork or chicken or beef or whatever, and there's a reason those are the popular ones. I feel like it's the same thing with drugs. Like, if you want to do drugs, just do, like, the normal ones, you know? I guess when you're, like, a kid or whatever, you have to steal shit from the shoppers and get sick because you're drinking cough syrup or whatever. But some people are so desperate to not be sober that they prefer a nightmare from tripping on Benadryl. That's real, true. Manifesting chromosomes. He reminds me of the pig from the chicken movie where the sky falls. Am I right, fellas? I gotcha. This guy gives crazy head. I would prefer it if you stopped showing my Instagram. Yeah, swag, real. Nice to see you. Ooh, Sly Gobbo coming through. I would really recommend going on the DPH subreddit. Super funny. Sorry, what's DPH? Is that some weird drug thing? He's begun to be able to speak garbage just with a piece of hard food I'm stuck in it. I agree that, yeah, I mean, that's true. I get it. Oh, it's Benadryl users. DPH. Oh, I think it might have been nuked. I don't know if... Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think they might have nuked it. Yeah, I mean,
I understand this is going to scare you. You're going to be a little confused. I am Jesus. Well, his vessel. His chosen vessel. I'm the king of the entire spiritual collective of Earth, the Galactic Federation, and I have access to knowledge that you probably...
Listen, I don't want to be mean here, but I don't feel that Jesus' vessel on Earth, the crown of the Christ consciousness, is going to look like this. You know what I mean? I think if you look like this, if your stare is that fluoridated, if your sweater is that Pink Panthered, it really, if your hat is that askew, I think it kind of lowers your overall credibility. There, I said it. Someone had to.
So I've started to tap into...
Oh, that's what we already watched. Man, I've noticed these people, they're prolific posters. I believe the correct terminology of this is apostasy. Apotasy. I haven't smoked weed. I think the time is funny. Oh, it's 4:20 o'clock based. I haven't smoked weed in over 11 months. I'm a prophet. That's actually the same as me. Wow. I'm a prophet now, a Sigma empath, a seer, an earth angel, a non-denominational Christian, and a very spiritual. I'm a member of the collective. I'm the leader and the king of the entire spiritual collective of Earth. I'm already on my throne, spiritual, blah, 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 blah. Awesome. Christ consciousness transcends gub garbage disposal guy appearances. I disagree to some extent. I kind of disagree.
I'm a non-denominational Christian prophet, and I'm here to help you get closer to Jesus. You must come out of religion and go into a personal, spiritual, and psychological, mental relationship with Jesus.
Because it's not just that he's overweight. It's more of a mindset thing. It's more of a vibe. It's really more of the fluoride stare. There's no other way to describe it. I'm sorry. Somebody had to say it. This guy reminds me of all the people that scold me on all the Sonic message boards. Based. Are you active on Sonic message boards? Are there still Sonic message boards? Could I promote Sonic Wednesday on Sonic message boards? What happened to message boards? John, no one scolds you. True. Real. How do these guys get into this? I get it as being an old 4chan guy, but how do gubs learn about this? Yeah, I don't know what people are doing these days. I think everyone's watching, like, I don't know, watching other Instagram reels or something. Alright, I'm going to throw this guy a follow, too. Ooh, wow. Let's see what this one has going on.
You know, a lot of people think that the Rothschilds were running the show because they control the money, right? But no, even the Rothschilds were working for the Black Pope.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and the Grey Pope.
There's levels to this.
There's different levels, yeah.
Yeah, because people assume the Rothschilds run the world because they have the most money, right?
Exactly.
On paper, but there's probably more people that have more money than them.
Absolutely. Well, the Vatican's been hoarding all this for 1,700 years. Where do you think all the gold, most of the gold was? Until, of course, the White Hat military in the last 2 years was able to recuperate it. There was a huge raid. 2023, I believe, there was a huge raid to retake the gold that the Vatican has been withholding from humanity for 1,700 years.
Wow.
And the quantum financial system was actually a gift given to us by these positive galactic beings that's supposed to, again, you know, completely dismantle.
Okay, I just noticed this guy's shirt. That's awesome. Where do I get a shirt like that? That is how you develop credibility. You wear a shiny astronaut shirt. That's what I'm talking about. TikTok is wild. Sorry, I missed some stuff there. Yeah, I think that's where all the gubs are now. They're all on the platforms where you can be literally illiterate to function on. I had to talk to two 24-year-old girls this weekend. It felt like experiencing another species. Yeah. You know, I partake in a lot of boomer hate. It's justified, but let's be real. At some point, the world is going to be run by Zoomers. And just think about how that's going to go. Just think about how that's going to go. We was popes and shit. The Black Pope, damn, they really was everything. Real. The what Pope? The Pope. The black, gray Pope are not the skin colors of the popes in that position. Yeah, I assume the Black Pope is like the evil Pope and the gray Pope is like the alien Pope or something. The widening of the eye spacing is directly proportional to the heightening of the human spirit. Truth acorn. Midwit slop. I mean, I'm willing to give him a chance. He's got the shiny-ass shirt. It is a nice shirt, yeah. I love it when someone says there's levels to this shit. Yeah. How do these pages have production value? I mean, I think they got like, you can't see it, but, oh, you can't see it. They have like 3,000 likes on this. There's a kind of enormous market for this kind of stuff, which is what we're all doing here, which is what I'm trying to tap into. Chrome shirt, awesome, true, real. Hughes review, but it's Noid guys fashion. It's probably an EMF blocking shirt or whatever. Yeah, probably. John speaking to Gen Z Foids is like standing next to black hole that sucks the vril out of the room. He's on Wikipedia. Lol, not hidden. Is he on Wikipedia?
You know, a lot of people think that the Rothschilds were running the show because they control.
Probably. Hold on, a flaming Q just appeared. Sorry, from my my Colt 45 is coming back on me. I just got to go take a piss real quick. I'm just going to play this video. Just hang tight for 35 seconds.
Money, right? But no, even the Rothschilds were working for the Black Pope.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and the Grey Pope.
There's levels to this.
There's different levels, yeah.
Yeah, because people assume the Rothschilds run the world because they have the most money, right?
Exactly.
On paper, but there's probably more people that have more money than them.
Absolutely. Well, the Vatican. The Vatican's been hoarding all this for 1,700 years. Where do you think all the gold, most of the gold was? Until, of course, the white hat military in the last 2 years was able to recuperate it. There was a huge raid. 2023, I believe, there was a huge raid to retake the gold that the Vatican has been withholding from humanity for 1,700 years.
Wow.
And the quantum financial system was actually a gift given to us by these positive galactic beings that's supposed to, again, completely dismantle the central banking systems, the International Monetary Fund, and of course the entire cabal-run, you could say, governments.
Yeah, I wonder what currency other advanced planets use.
A lot of people think that the Rothschilds were running the show because they control the money, right? But no, even the
Perfect timing. Hold on, a flaming Q just appeared in my living room. I'm being called. Rap music was a psyop? Yeah. Well. Yeah. Hugh's going to leave an 8-second short on repeat. Wait, was it only 8 seconds? Did it loop? I thought I timed it basically perfectly. Distort. Whoa. 666 posts. Does that number seem familiar? What's up with the pyramids?
How did they build the pyramids? No one carried those massive stones.
There's no way.
Absolutely no way. They were able to levitate these stones. They were able to move planets around.
So is this a podcast where the Wasian guy interviews like shiny shirt, sweaty Noid guys?
Imagine you're a being that's 8-9 times bigger than the galaxy. Pick a planet up and just take it over there.
Wow.
How did they build the pyramids? No one carried.
Oh, that's the whole clip. Interesting. They levitated it. Let's go.
The original moon was actually imploded during the Atlantean-Lemurian War. They took the real organic moon and imploded it over the Lemurian continent in order for Atlantis to become supreme and take over the planet
Where did we hear about Lemurians? I know that came up recently, but I don't. It's like the continent that lemurs are from or something.
50,000 years ago.
Interesting. How did they implode it?
By using an advanced ACE tractor, a beam ACE tractor technology that was actually given to the Anunnaki by the reptilians of the Orion system.
Haven't heard many good things about reptilians.
Well, those are the bad guys in our galaxy.
Yeah. What is their goal? Are they the ones trying to program people, or?
Well, it's more than just programming people. They are trying to create what is known as energy harvesting systems, where they feed off of people's negative emotions. And so that, in a way, supplies food.
Finno-Korean hyper war. Thunder. That's a thunder. Donald Trump is calling me to trust the plan and import and naturalize 1 million Pajits a year into America. It's crazy because we literally do 1 million a year into Canada, and we have 1/10 your population. Did any of the Lemurian scale QAnon levels to this shit? Did any of the super soldiers, they were helped by Lemurian soul seeds? I don't remember. I know Lemuria and the Lemurians came up, but I can't actually remember where that was or who that was. But yeah, that is the good question. Where do these guys get it? Because I feel like I've watched a fair bit of Noid stuff in my time, but I couldn't confidently go and sit down on some Asian guy's podcast and just say it like I was an expert, are there books where people write this down, or are there videos, or do you just think about it on the bus or something? You know what I mean? Where?
My daughter saw an old man sitting on a bench, and she saw that he was a reptilian. He walked into the bank. My daughter followed him. Shortly after,
again, not to be too physiognomy coded, but I would not let this guy hold on to my wallet. Like, look at this fucking guy. That would be Loosh. Yeah, that was a coded Loosh reference there for sure. For sure. The reptiles in robes are basically me moderating Sonic Wednesday. Real. Using psychic mind powers to banish the evildoers. Sounds like some reptile dysfunction. Let's go. Gaines has the one-liners singing out tonight. I mentioned it in the outro to last week's Noid stream. Oh, okay. I knew it had come up. Might have to look into it. Lemuria comes from an anthropologist that found lemur bones and devised a whole continent to make the connection between African lemurs and Indian lemurs. And then Helen Blotvotsky, it's not a real name, made a whole history. Okay. Might be worth looking into that at some point. Some people are just tapped in. You wouldn't get it, Hugh. Yeah, I mean, that is the drawback. I've bragged many times about being, like, totally unhauntable, sleep like a baby every night, basically immune to all forms of hauntology and the supernatural. And that's good in some ways, but that is true that means I'm not tapped into such things and have to sort of sit in the cuck chair of life as other people are, seeing the Trevuth and the Placan. It is what it is. Guy has a head like a Costco jar of pickles. True. I do like the Ankh, the Ankh. I need to get a big-ass Ankh chain. It's weird because I can find snippets of things and everything. Majestic 12 disinformation documents. Man. What's the Majestic 12? I know I looked that up recently. It was something with, like, aliens or something. I think you mentioned it in Discord. I did look it up, but then I proceeded to forget. Something to do with Legos? See, proof that I looked it up. The Wikipedia link is purple. Nice shirt. Thought he was wearing a trans awareness shirt. Pretty close. I believe it to be biblical. Biblical. What, the Ankh medallion? Unsold. Damn. That's rough. It's better not to be Trevoothed into the Placan, Hugh. Yeah. Ankh for an unk. Yeah. True. Real. Which one? No, that was that guy. This guy. Yeah. Heard about Lemuria from the band Lemuria. They played with Into It, Over It, and they were pretty good. Nice. I'm pretty sure, like, William S. Burroughs had a whole thing about Lemuria, but I don't quite recall what what that was all about. You need a Millennium Puzzle. True. I need a Millennium Puzzle that has, like, an older version of me and kind of weird bondage gear or whatever I can like transform into while I'm on, like, dates and stuff. That would, I think, open my third eye to the Trevu Placan. The team that worked on MK Ultra. Oh yeah, let's take a side scroll. You know what? First we've checked out all I'm gonna follow this. I'm gonna give this a follow. We'll check out our last Gub guy. Then we'll hit a Gub woman, actually, and then we'll hit Majestic 12, and then we can get into some Oklahoma City stuff. The message. Wait, what was the message on the shirt? It's too late. I'm at a comedy show right now. Have Hugh streaming into my hearing aid. I hope you're on stage right now. That'd be awesome. Hearing aid hacks. Majestic 12 weren't involved in MK Ultra. It's the idea that there are leaders that represent the U.S. when it comes to alien contact. Okay. Let's go. Burroughs, the child respecter. Yeah. I gotta say, William S. Burroughs was one of those guys who I thought was cool once upon a time, but as I've grown and matured, I do not really find him that cool or his books that good or interesting anymore. I would classify that as the folly of youth. Message on shirt was unfuckable with. That's cool. Nick, do a tight 5 on Roswell. Is it too late? It is too late for some of us, it would seem. Yes, true, real. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Or is it? Can we get a Hugh review for a music video I found? It's like a minute long. Probably. I don't know. So you can send it somewhere. I don't know if I can see links in here, but you could like I don't know. Say the name of it, and I could look it up. No, the Area 51 incident. Okay, we're going to check it back in with this A10 Nubian Queen after we look into Majestic 12. This seems important. Hugh, do you want my copy of Behold a Pale Horse? Yes, I don't know what that is, but I love me some free-ish. Okay, yeah, it's a poem, and then it's a book by Milton William Cooper. Reveals information that remains hidden from the public eye, information that's been kept top secret government files since the 1940s. Ooh. We could get an Anthony Fantano-style Hugh reviews on Jewish drill rap albums. Is your album done yet? Oh, you know what? I actually did buy that Francis E. Deck book, and it is here. I have the copy of the Francis E. Deck book. I forgot all about that. Today we have a pretty packed schedule, but maybe on future end streams, I can do a dramatic reading of a Francis E. Deck letter. The wonders of Amazon.ca. The book showed up basically the next day. Pretty awesome stuff. Francis E. Deck Dancer. It's the Bill Cooper book. $35. That's a lot for a book these days. It's on Internet Archive. No, I'm not reading a whole book on that. Is it just like a Noid ass book? Okay, we're gonna audiobook is on YouTube based. I will give that a listen because that probably has Bill Cooper, former United States Naval Intelligence Briefing Team member, reveals information truth unfolds, Kennedy, war on drugs, secret government, UFOs. That sounds awesome. I'm going to check that out. I like the cover. I like the title. It's looking good. Free is better than $35. That looks like a good stream, whatever that is. What am I looking up? Francis E. Deck Dancer. This one? I'm assuming it's this one.
Computer.worldwide secret contains the seemingly possible solely by worldwide computer Frankenstein controls the Spanish lifelong concentration of brainwash radio. Quiet and motionless, I can slightly hear it. world's worst gangster police state, using all the deadly gangster Frankenstein controls. Since then, I hide in forced jobless poverty in this slow deadly nigger town old house. In 1965, staying gangster police, Silly Buddy, pretty and change from Kennedy to the airport, ready with poison nerves, horrible dealing, ghosts and evil lawnmowers, cuts me up forever with a sneak undetectable extermination. Writing these unforgivable truths, therefore I must go to extermination. Before I am exterminated by this texture, computer god, I hand you the secrets to safety and our human race and the entire universe. Donate my heart with a manual typewriter to me. We're only for a future. Master race, control the master race. It's a bad instant plastic surgery. Think of things so before. After useless life, not the thing that you was a Frankenstein slave. Liar, 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 liar. Gangster, listen to your radio direct. Liar, 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 liar. Gangster, but it's people called with 1 minute remains.
It's pretty swag. Who's the guy who does like the readings of his stuff? That guy's got a really good voice for it, or maybe that's him. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool sample work. Working solo tomorrow. Going to be holding my pale horse, if you know what I mean. Let's go. I think Bill Cooper was a Beware of Project Bluebeam guy. Nick was popping off on Insta. YouTube on YouTube, real. Book was written in 91 and talks a lot about the current security surveillance state. Sounds pretty cool. I will look into it. If it's got a free audiobook on YouTube, I might listen to that. At work. At work on one earphone. Spitting bars, dropping truth. I'm back. What did I miss? Mostly Gub Guys explorations. We haven't really dug into Oklahoma City yet. We're going to do that soon. But I know I read this. Majestic 12. Fake documents. Or so they say. And claim to some UFO conspiracies. Secret committee. So FBI declared the documents to be completely bogus, so they're probably pretty true. Is Majestic 12 like a deep enough one to do a whole episode on? Look, they wrote bogus on it in giant Sharpies to throw us all off. Yeah, nice try. But yeah, Mandar, he gets a ton of disinfo fed to him as well. Might have to check into that. This video is meant to be watched with your eyes peeled open like Clockwork Orange. Yeah, true. I think it was mentioned at the start of the song. Like who the reader is?
Gangster computer got worldwide secret containment policy made possible solely by worldwide computer got Frankenstein controls. The smash like long concentration brainwash radio. Quiet and motionless, I can slightly hear it.
Schizo dancer. Could get a solid hour on Majestic 12. Okay. Maybe next week we can do a chunk of Majestic 12. We'll see if we manage to solve Oklahoma City this week. Maybe we'll do Majestic 12 next week. But Oklahoma City, I don't know. I feel like it. What's the general temperature on Oklahoma City? We have one more Gub Queen, an A10 Nubian Queen to check out. But what's the general tenor on Oklahoma City? Does it go deep? Is it what it appears? Is it Trevu? Is it part of the plan? Aliens are always coming soon. Real. I thought we were going to get a zombie invasion, but instead we got the gayest pandemic of all time. Ugh, yeah. Yeah, I don't even... Yeah, real, true, not based. At the last Jew meeting, I voted for a mild winter. Thank you, Nick. I'm not a high enough level Jew to get a vote on Bluebeam. Sorry, guys. Well, thank you for trying. Huge. That's what they call me. That's what she said. Have you ever seen the Steven Spielberg movie AI, Artificial Intelligence? Just saw it, and I think it's kind of crazy. A month before 9/11 and super esoteric perverted. I have seen it, not recently, though, but I have seen it. I recall rather enjoying it, but what does it have 9/11 significance? Because that was sort of like half Stanley Kubrick's last movie, I think. Where like he did like, well, no, like Eyes Wide Shut, but I think he did like, he was going to do that one, I think. And then Steven Spielberg finished it. And as I recall, like, I think like the maybe like the first half or whatever has that kind of, emotional, kind of treacly Spielberg stuff. And then it's got a mix of the sort of icy cold Kubrickian stuff. I remember it being good, but maybe I should give it a rewatch. It's been a long ass time since I saw it. All right, let's check out our last Gub Gub Queen, an A10 Nubian queen with videos of 100,000 likes. God, all these people are owning me so hard. God damn it. It was mostly written and developed by Stanley Kubrick for decades before his death, in which Spielberg took... Yeah. And I remember it has kind of a contrast of like Spielbergian and Kubrickian.
All right, the blue dinner is on. There go my blue yardbird, my blue potatoes seasoned to the gods, and some blue onions and carrots. Y'all, they blue and orange just look crazy. But yeah, I'm finna stuff them all in my turkey, y'all. What's on y'all table? All right, the blue dinner.
Could any of you brothers with a bit more flavor than I tell me what a yardbird is? Is that literally a bird that you catch in your yard?
All right, we got a bluish stuff with the onions and everything. The potatoes sitting around it as cute as I could get it. And I'm going to go pop it in the oven for, I think, 375 for 30, 45 minutes or something. I don't know. But we're going to...
This is the most distressing... This is the most distressing set of videos yet. Why is all her shit blue?
Okay, maybe I gave up too quick. I'm going to try another one and not use so much. Okay, with a pink one, I put less mix in it, and I'm going to close it down and see what it do.
Going as Marty McFly this weekend to a themed party, and it just reminds me that schizo YouTube guy who says BTTF was crawling with 9/11s. I mean, I think that... Yeah, I've seen some videos where people find a lot of 9/11s in a lot of different pop culture artifacts. It's cool that you're going to a themed party, though. Is your guys' Thanksgiving, what's it, next weekend? This week? No, not this weekend, surely. Surely. This is a true Atlantean. Yeah, Atlanteans do be eating their food all kinds of fucked up colors.
All right. If y'all don't know him, he got to get his plate organized before he take a bite. So if he got pancakes, he got to butter them and then serve them, then cut them up cute and stuff.
Do you think this guy bought his plate offer on Facebook Marketplace and now he's getting filmed? Because my understanding, we don't have a ton of black people here, but black people do love be buying plates off Facebook Marketplace, is my understanding. I think the narrator's Boyd R. Britton. Oh, okay. He does an excellent job reading them. Blue waffle, lol. Yeah. Well. Yardbird, domestic chicken in the South. Oh, thank you. There are 0 laws within a private domicile. True, real. Your neighbor's dog is colloquially known as a yardbird. Oh, whoops, sorry. Wrong button. In some cultures. Thank you. November 27th, I believe, based. That dude needs help. Yeah, he does appear to be a prisoner of some sort, eating a horrific blue waffle. We all been there, right, fellas? Next weekend, let's go. Is that cancer-killing blue toilet dye? Probably. She might have taken Wash and Yo. Oh, I think it might literally be.
As you can see, it's almost full, but look how much I got left over for the next refill.
It's a little disconcerting when someone has blue food and then videos of Dawn dish soap. You know? Wait, no, 2 weeks, my bad. All good. All good. I don't know. I already had Thanksgiving, so it ain't no thing to me. Just wondering. This guy has never bought something.
Thank you to my husband. He always supportive, and whatever I want to do, he made me some what I'm calling McGriddle rings. So yeah, we're gonna get busy. Now it's time for a colorful McGriddle breakfast.
I think he's her like homeless husband, maybe. Or well, maybe not. You know what I mean by homeless.
Hey, boo, somebody do like me, y'all. I am chilling with my family. Happy Pride Night. We playing spades, Yes, because you can take the girl out the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the girl.
True. I always be saying that. Wish I could laugh react and real react to comments on here. Myron made me lol. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are just jealous that he has a beautiful queen. That is 100% accurate. And he's getting big ass.
For the inside, y'all, stay tuned. Look, he cut this sideways like free birds. Boy, you better work it professional.
This is gonna be cool, though, yo.
For the inside.
Yep. It's blue. It's blue. What wrong with that? We clean our chicken with Dawn. Why not put it in our waffle batter? I mean, good point. True and real point. Damn, she got a lot of videos. Damn, she be making a lot of videos. Wood. White people ain't even clean. Trigger warning, yeah, she does appear to have that's good call, John. It appears to be the same message every time.
They go my orange sweater.
Trigger warning, happy Father's Day and happy Pride Month. We love all y'alls and definitely our owns. Just like hubby wanted pink eggs, diced lime, green taters, and leftover blue balls. What's on y'all table, booze?
My humongous tortillas, and I just want to say happy Pride Day, happy Pride Month, happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are fathers. Yes, hubby went and got some syrup for his. There go his. This is mine. Yes, happy Father's Day.
What's on y'all tables, booze? That man, he was Neil deGrasse Tyson 6 months ago. Yeah. Now he's eating big ass blue burritos. What? Oh yeah, here's her 8 hens.
Hey, booze. Oh, y'all didn't know this. But before I start going to the Miss Faith, the African lady.
She's got freaking chow serums in her hair.
Braider. My hubby used to help me do my hair, so to change it up, we have rolled, the hair, dipped it.
We only give it up once a year. Mandar, he def be shitting blue. There was an ice cream place I went to as a kid with blue ice cream that made me ish blue for real. Yeah. They're eating a lot of blue, a lot of green. If you guys are into blue and green, you're going to enjoy the Patreon episode that I will be uploading after the stream here. A lot of blue mentioned, a lot of green mentioned.
All right, it's all coming together. I'm stirring it up.
What is that?
Finna put the top on it. I got it on simmer so it can all come together, and then I'm put a handful of shredded sharp cheddar on top.
What is that? Is that
there
noodles?
It is. All right, it's all coming together.
We need to start Sonic Wednesdays with a text description shouting out all the holidays. Yeah, that's true. Maybe I'll put something together. I like this style because it reminds you what.
That looks pretty cool right there, red and white ketchup. But I gotta keep it going.
Happy hate night and happy Pride Month. We love all y'all's, definitely our owns. Where? Seems like black people have access to like special filters that make like text all fuzzy and like low poly, and like I like don't know how to do
Getting
that.
this place together, then he gonna drop them.
It's powerful Wakandan technology, perhaps. Our equivalent of land acknowledgement. Yeah, I'm more into green and purple. Awesome. Joker, like the Joker. That reminds me of the Joker. Hugh keeps asking, what are these things, when he could read the 500-word description? Well, the description doesn't always say. I'm doing colorful and simple. I have green noodles and aquamarine turkey meat and very orange cheese sauce. What on y'all table, booze? True. Okay, what was that one that looked like it was like frickin' beads?
All right, that's...
So this is noodles and aquamarine, turkey meat, and very orange cheese. But see, that's the same description as last time. That doesn't look like noodles.
That's the final look. I'm finna dip us up some bowls with some honey flavored.
And now she's not even speaking English.
Sparkling green butter, but hopefully it turned my hamburger.
Because see, look, she's saying cheeseburger. That's not a cheeseburger.
Green and sparkle.
That's not a cheeseburger and fries. It's a cup of green goo. Would love to know how she makes this blue. Is it a Haitian spell? I have no idea. I don't even know what she's eating. Shout out to this lady's smoke alarm batteries. This woman would love Sonic Blue Curry, true.
Yeah, this is orange ketchup with edible glitter. You can see it. It was pretty.
So she had
I'm gonna go put it back in. Alright, we're not doing double meats. I'm just doing one that got my Hellman's mayo. Spread it on there. I'm gonna spread hubby's nasty sandwich spread on his green buns.
It's like they always have the TV on really loud in the background, too. This green butter to turn her burger green. Follow the Lord. I'm trying my best.
This is the regular food breakfast sausage. No taste, no flavor, just regular breakfast sausage. This is where normal people stop, minus the color, and start cooking, but not me. Colorful breakfast sausage. Happy Friday. This is the...
Forbidden Gains is a cool guy. I'm glad he's in the chat. That's true. This lady eats raw hamburger for sure. I mean, yeah. I'm sure dousing it in food coloring or Dawn soap or whatever has some degree of disinfectant practices.
Like to first give honor to God, who is the head of my life, the head of my house life. I like to give honor to my shepherds, the first lady.
I want to apologize to China. This lady may have caused the global coronavirus pandemic. Yeah. Hugh has obviously never been to the cookout. He doesn't even know about pink cheese hamburgers. That's true. I have never... I have never been to the cookout. This is a distraction. This lady is the chef for the Forbidden Gains. I mean, these are some Forbidden Gains. That's true. And she's making her husband dress as a sort of Pirate of the Caribbean. She's kind of doing a gender-swapped version of John's goal of getting his Foyd and Pirates of the Caribbean gig. What did they... Okay. You think she was pissed about RFK trying to ban food dye, or is she too much of a gub-gub to know that much about politics? I'm going to guess the latter. I'm sorry, Hugh. As a squirrel, I am just mad you almost hit me with your car last Thursday. Fact check. True. Fact check true. Yeah, I've been exposed as a cookoutless freak. I know all the other Chrome boys are going to frickin' cookouts every weekend, and I never get invited. Pirates of the Somalian. Yo, simmer down. 07, off to bed. Enjoy the Noid stream. 07, John. Have a good sleep. Sweet dreams. Don't take all your Benadryl.
Yeah, well, if my face wasn't so fat, I would have dimples, I think. But we back in HEB, my lovely place. Y'all know I'm riding, but I'll be picking up extra shifts today and tomorrow. So I got him some maple sausage. We can get some steak fries so I can bust some breakfast. Colorful.
Let's go. Going to Blair HHN walkthroughs. HEB, this woman is my neighbor. Yeah. Hell yeah, let's go. You should ask her for some of her blue ass recipes. Was drifting off to sleep and was awoken by my name being mentioned twice like a sleeper agent. You got a shout out. That's what's up. Okay, I'm also gonna... Okay, this chick has like literally thousands of posts. But that's a follow. That's a frickin' follow. Alright, I think that was a good run of Gub Gubs. Let's get out of... Oh, my computer's frozen. Oh, no. This can't be happening. My computer is crashing on Instagram. Okay. Did not want me to be closing in. Okay, we back. And we back. Time for some Oklahoma City stuff. 8,400 posts that are exactly the same. Yeah, she do be posting. They're trying to silence the Noid computer. Yeah. Yeah, they don't want certain things revealed, I think. Okay, so Oklahoma City. So I think everybody probably knows the broad strokes. Bomb blows up. Was it one guy? Was it multiple guys? It's Timothy McVeigh. He's angry over Waco. That's what the FBI has to say about it. Let's check out this one. I think this was the one that apparently can flip your whole freaking mindset. Before we get going, anybody have some hot tips to drop on us for OKC? The communist gangster computer god trying to shut down the Noid stream down before we get into the OKC videos. Yeah, many frickin' such cases.
Oklahoma City, April 19th. Oklahoma.
Now that John's asleep, Paul Niger reference to that gentleman dressed in the colonial costume. Yeah. Paul Niger. Yeah, real.
City, April 19th, 1995. What began as an ordinary day quickly descended into chaos. At 9:02 a.m., a truck bomb ripped through the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building, shredding its 9 stories of concrete and steel. The explosion was equivalent to 4,000 pounds of TNT The shockwave flipped cars like toys, shattering windows over 50 blocks away. It registered as a 6 on the Richter scale. Within seconds, 168 lives were lost, including 19 children. Over 600 others were injured. Screams of terror and pain filled the streets, drowned only by the wail of sirens and crackling fires. The front of the federal building had been blown outward, as if some monstrous force had torn free from
That's a pretty large explosion, hey? And that's supposedly from a truck parked out front of it? I don't know about that one. Anyone ever see that musical Oklahoma? I think it's from the 1950s, No Time to Sex. Check. Sorry, I have not. I feel like Noid streams need to be more esoteric. Only stream between 1 and 4 a.m. and only during storms. That would be cool. That would be cool, but I do love getting my 8 hours. I need 8 hours and a nice blue meal if I'm going to function during the day. How about the Richter scale? The building was blown outward. How was it? How was its back blown out, though? Yeah, true, real.
Descriptions from first responders are graphic. They encountered torsos and severed limbs among the wreckage, and the suffocating smell of blood hanging in the air. According to one first responder, our firefighters are having to crawl over corpses to get to people that are still alive. It was a nightmare, an open wound in the heart of Oklahoma City. Terry Yakey, a sergeant with the Oklahoma City Police Department, was on duty that morning. Yakey and Jim Ramsey were among the first responders on the scene. Without hesitation, they rushed into the ruins, knowing the building could collapse at any moment. Yakey's bravery would save 4 lives that day. He carried an unidentified woman from the wreckage, her left leg injured below the knee. He returned to the rubble, spotting an arm jutting out among the debris. He couldn't feel a pulse, and he stormed deeper into the building, following the desperate screams of a man. Tom Hall, a first-floor office worker, had been shredded by shrapnel. His injuries would require over 150 stitches. After carrying Hall to safety, Yakey returned to the man he thought was dead, only to discover he was still alive. Richard Williams, the assistant building manager, had been buried beneath concrete and steel, suffering...
It's a powerful, powerful set of veneers there. Shout out.
Extensive injuries, fractured skull, severed ear, crushed hand, and torn leg. He dug Williams free and carried him away. Yakey would storm into the ruins once more, helping another first responder who had discovered Randy Ledger. Yakey later recalled rescuing Ledger. All we could see...
That's awesome to have that as your, like, the one picture of you. Wish I had that. Where your one picture is like a poorly photographed or like copy-pasted thing. You guys can't see it. He's giving the thumbs up. That's awesome. First stream I've been awake for in weeks. Oh, what's up? What's up, Soy? How's life in whatever bizarre country you're in? That's just what he looks like. He just looks like that. Yeah.
He was part of his face. He was completely buried. We couldn't tell where his arms or legs were. We began lifting blocks of concrete off of Randy. He would tell us it hurt as we lifted the chunks one by one. I lifted a board off his face, and part of his face peeled back. Finally, we freed Randy and started to carry him out. Ledger had punctured his carotid artery. By the time they freed him, he had lost 2/3 of his blood, and he was drifting in and out of consciousness. As Yakey and the other responder carried him to safety, the supports gave way. Yakey plummeted 2 floors, severely injuring his back. He rode in the same ambulance as Ledger to the hospital. Yakey was heralded as a hero and scheduled to receive the Medal of Valor, but he shunned the attention. His supervisor noted, "There are some people that like to be heroes and some that don't. He was not one that wanted that." Richard Williams, recovering in the hospital, called to thank him personally. He was not comfortable talking, and this didn't help. Yet something was eating away at Yakey. He called his ex-wife for a ride from the hospital, and when she picked him up, he wept openly. He told her that the official story about the bombing was a lie. In the following months, he would conduct his own investigation, collecting photographs, videotapes, and documents. He was convinced that he would...
Okay, so we've gathered so far that the official story is a lie. So we're hearing reports that the official story here on FBI.gov is a lie. Disturbing stuff. April 20, damn.
Was under surveillance, and he insisted his investigation was uncovering things he could not ignore. On May 8, 1996, Terry Yakey's body was found in a remote field near El Reno, Oklahoma, just miles from a federal prison. His wrists and neck were slashed, and he had been shot in the head. His blood-soaked car was discovered nearly half a mile away, locked, with a razor blade inside. The sheer brutality of his injuries raised questions. How could a man gravely injured walk that far? How could he have shot himself from a downward trajectory? Why were there ligature marks on his wrists? Following his death, Yakey's family and friends...
Czech holiday tomorrow, so no classes, based. Are Czech holidays like Jewish holidays where there's one potentially every week? Yes, and they're all worded very negatively. Like, I think there's this one is the Struggle for Democracy Day. It's always something like the suffering of Christmas. That's awesome.
Experienced burglaries,
the Czechs.
Only minor objects displaced or stolen. They heard clicking noises on their phones, and for weeks, they were followed by strange vehicles. What had Yakey uncovered in the months that followed the bomb, and why had that knowledge cost him everything?
Pandox. Is this guy based? Is this guy based and red-pilled?
Timothy McVeigh was born on April 23, 1968, in Lockport, New York. His parents divorced when he was 10, and he primarily lived with his...
At Grok, is this guy based in red pill? Yeah. Yeah, literally me. Pandox is based, and he has lots of other good vids too. Cool. I'm going to subscribe to him on my special Noid channel.
Father. He was a withdrawn boy, often bullied, and he had a fascination with firearms and survivalist fantasies. He developed a distrust of authority, and he became radicalized against the federal government. Despite these sentiments, McVeigh joined the U.S. Army in 1988. During basic training at Fort Benning, Georgia, he met Terry Nichols, a fellow recruit nearly 15 years his senior. The two bonded over their rural upbringings and mutual suspicion of government authority, a connection that would turn deadly in the years to come. McVeigh excelled as a soldier, distinguishing himself in his training and later serving in the Gulf War. Yet his experience in the highly structured and hierarchical military only served to reaffirm his anti-authoritarian views, and he left the Army in 1991. Upon returning to civilian life, McVeigh struggled to reintegrate. He moved back in with his father, working briefly as a security guard, but quickly found himself feeling isolated and directionless. He began traveling from one gun show to the next, flipping firearms and military memorabilia to get by. These events introduced him to other anti-government extremists who shared his grievances. Around this time, McVeigh revisited his favorite book from high school, The Turner Diaries, a novel that depicted a violent government overthrow through catastrophic bombings.
Has anybody ever read The Turner Diaries? I feel like that's one of those like Camp of the Saints books that costs like a fucking $1,000 or whatever.
In 1993, McVeigh reconnected with Terry Nichols. Both men had grown more resentful of the government, their anger intensified by events like Ruby Ridge and Waco. At Ruby Ridge in 1992, a federal standoff with survivalist Randy Weaver resulted in the deaths of Weaver's family members. The following year, the federal siege on the Branch Davidian compound in Waco, Texas, left 76 dead.
Still working on reading it, but I will at some point. Yeah, it's sort of appealing to me as one of those, like, you know, as close to being banned as a book can be, you know. Yeah, read it on PDF when I was just a babby getting red-pilled. I think I have it on PDF somewhere in my files. I have a giant archive of ARD books, but I just can't. I just can't read a PDF. I need a frickin' Kindle version if I'm gonna read something, or a hard copy, But I think that's one that literally costs like $1,000 or whatever. But pretty sure I got the PDF somewhere. Maybe I'll trudge through it sometime. Based on the official story, McVeigh is upset about Waco. Waco people were worried about what happened at Ruby Ridge. Weaver owned a Say No to Zog shirt. Based WLP. Oh, that's is that William Luther Pierce? I can't read. Based. You can download and throw it on a tablet. Okay, the issue I've tried to do that, but it doesn't format correctly. Oh, on a tablet. No, I don't have an iPad. I have a Kindle. And I do have the program to convert it, but it always like formats all fucked up. And I don't believe people who say they do that, because the formatting, the margins are huge. It doesn't make any frickin' sense. Is John present? No, he went to bed, but he is ever present, so best behavior, everyone. No, Ruby Ridge, Idaho mentioned. When did Chrome Boys get a soundboard, or is Jordan under the desk making the noises? I'm actually making the noises with my hands, like sort of like you know, like doing that type of ish. Ink is a scam. Gives me a headache. Must be the children's souls stuck in the screen. I like I think the Kindle Paperwhite. It's pretty awesome, actually. I'm a big fan of my Kindle Paperwhite. Though right now I'm forced to read a hard copy book like a frickin' ape, because it was the only way I could get a hold of Michael Crichton's based and red-pilled anti-climate change book, which is based and also red-pilled. Ancient Far Eastern hand noise methods. I've heard of these, yes. Maybe I'm just too gay to read. I don't know. I think like I had a Kobo and it was dog shit, but the Kindle Paperwhite, great device, not a sponsor, but I do like them.
To McVeigh and Nichols, these incidents confirmed their darkest beliefs about government tyranny, and they began planning what they saw as a necessary act of retaliation. In the fall of 1994, the two...
Yeah, I think a tablet is different. I'm specifically talking about the Kindle has really fucked up margins when I've converted PDFs to it. But on a tablet, I think it wouldn't be so bad.
Set their plan in motion, gathering materials to construct an explosive device of unimaginable force. They acquired large quantities of ammonium nitrate fertilizer, ostensibly an agricultural product, but one with lethal potential in the right combination. They mixed it with nitromethane, a volatile racing fuel, and bolstered it with dynamite and blasting caps, which they stole from a nearby quarry. They stored their materials across a series of rented storage units, using aliases to avoid detection, accumulating the parts, piece by piece, in quiet anticipation. By April 1995, their preparations were complete. McVeigh had chosen the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building as the target, convinced it symbolized everything he despised. On April 18th, McVeigh and Nichols drove to...
Okay, I do have the Turner Diaries PDF. Maybe I'll read it. Yeah, I have this insane list of PDF books that I got from being in a... What's like the Telegram, but even more encrypted for even more schizo and troubled folks. Signal? Yeah, maybe it was Signal. At some point, for reasons we don't have to get into, I was in some weird Signal group, and some guy uploaded this whole, like, thousands of documents library that has all types of shit on it. And I was like, I can just put them on my Kindle, but it never fucking worked. So I need to get a frickin' iPad. I've got the whole Zundel's Bunker, which I'm pretty sure was a Canadian guy who ended up going to jail for this, basically. Yeah, there's the Turner Diaries. Yeah, I know there's some, like, cool shit in here, for sure. Like, all these Freemasonry books. Yeah, anyway.
Erie Lake State Park, a secluded spot near Junction City, Kansas, where they assembled their device. As the waters lapped at the lake's edge, they worked through the day, mixing ammonium nitrate and nitromethane into a lethal compound, carefully loading the substance into 55-gallon barrels. When their work was done, they loaded the barrels into a Ryder truck McVeigh had rented under the alias Robert Kling, arranging the barrels and concealing them under a tarp in the truck bed. In total, the device weighed nearly 5,000 pounds. McVeigh climbed into the truck on the morning of April 18th and drove to Oklahoma City.
So what do we think? Are we still believing the official story, or do we think that that's a total frickin' farce at this point? I'm still undecided. We'll see.
He spent that night in the truck, parked quietly just outside the city limits, mentally preparing for what would come next. At dawn on April 19th, he drove the Ryder truck to the Murrah building, timing his arrival for 9 a.m. to ensure that the building would be full of government employees and civilians. He set the timed fuses and parked the truck in front of the building's entrance, then walked briskly away. At 9:02 a.m., a shockwave of unrestrained violence broke free, and it seemed to drain the sound from the world. For a single moment, it was deafeningly silent, the air empty of screams and sirens, leaving only an empty crater.
I periodically remember that I have these thousands of PDFs. I typically kind of forget that they're there. I'll click in and I'll find something that'll catch my interest. So here we have Esoteric Hitlerism Basics. Excerpts from El Cordon Dorado, Hitlerismo Esoterica, Adolf Hitler, El Ultimo Avatara, Manu por el Hombre. It's pretty awesome that it's in Spanish. Concerning the last, where was it? In the initiation, he, Hitler, received the force of Vril, the victorious energy of Havarano or Far. Against him, all forces of darkness and death have been unleashed, of inertia, of the elementarsia, elemental being. That is awesome. Awesome. This is what we need. This is the real info we're after. But anyway,
in its wake. Terry Yakey awoke in the Presbyterian Hospital, attempting to recover from the back injury he sustained while carrying victims from the rubble. His first thoughts weren't of himself, they were of those he had rescued. He managed to reach Randy Ledger, a man he'd saved from the debris, and Yakey later told a reporter, "It's like God was directing us together." But after that call, something changed. Terry had been married to Tanya Yakey, and together they had 2 daughters, but they divorced in April 1994. The following is an interview with Tanya Yakey and hosts Ken Rank and Colonel Craig Roberts, as Tanya recalls the initial aftermath.
Well, it actually started the day of the bombing that he had made some strange statements that at first I wasn't able to really put into any kind of logical order, but later on it began to make sense why he was making these comments. I picked him up. I got a call about 11:30, maybe 11:15 the morning of the bombing from Presbyterian Hospital. They said Terry had been injured and I needed to come down there and get him. In that 2-hour time, I've been trying to find him. His computer in his police vehicle was not working. Nobody could get a hold of him. Nobody seemed to know where he was. So I was really concerned because I knew he worked that area early in the morning. So I was concerned and was relieved to get the call. So I went down there to Presbyterian Hospital, picked him up. The strange thing was his first statement that came out of his mouth was, "Get me out of this hospital. No matter what you got to do, get me out of here." I said, okay. He's very adamant. I didn't know at the time that I've been told later that he was threatened at the hospital. I didn't know where the source of threatening came, but that's what I've been told later on, about a year after his death. As soon as we got in the vehicle, and Terry had injured his back carrying Randy Ledger out of the building. Randy was a large man, probably almost 300 pounds, and he had fallen through some rubble. So he couldn't even walk, couldn't sit up. And as soon as they loaded him into the car, he got very upset, started to cry a little bit, and said, "Tanya, it's not what they're saying it is. They're not."
Okay, let's do a quick couple short hits here on friend of the show website, Odyssey.com. See what they have to say about OKC.
Are you the Oklahoma City Bomber?
Maybe one of the benefits of me talking to you today is that you'll see that maybe not everything is true that you've heard about me.
On the morning of April 19, 1995, a decorated Gulf War combat vet blew up the federal building in Oklahoma City using a truck bomb that he didn't build in a Ryder truck that he didn't rent with the help of a passenger who didn't exist. Having just gotten away with the largest act of terrorism on U.S. soil to date, the Fort Bragg-trained Special Forces Sheep Drip Dropout blended in with the crowd by making his getaway in a car without a license plate and was immediately pulled over. The ATF was the supposed target of the attack, but luckily all of their agents were out of the office that morning. Later that day, the president boldly declared,
"We will find the people who did this.
And
when we do, justice will be swift, certain, and severe."
Except for
John Doe number 2. John Doe number 2.
John Doe number 2.
John Doe number 2.
Who, according to the FBI, never existed. In McVeigh's unprecedented 3.5-week trial, the prosecution didn't show the CCTV footage of him, and John Doe number 2, parking the Ryder truck. Didn't explain why 24 separate witnesses mass hallucinated the existence of John Doe number 2. Didn't explain why the government was testing truck bombs and the Army was storing Ryder trucks at Camp Gruber right before the bombing, and didn't talk to the FBI informants who blew the whistle on the plot. But they did collaborate with the CIA, and they did convict McVeigh as the lone wolf bomber and Terry Nichols as his bomb-constructing accomplice. Still, a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists, including 300 bombing victims, insist on talking about facts and evidence and refuse to simply believe what they've been told a million times by people in tailored suits with well-coiffed hair. They quote the U.S. Army Brigadier General and the FBI crime lab whistleblower and the inventor of the neutron bomb, who point out the physical impossibility that the Ryder truck bomb did the damage to the building, but that doesn't matter because if there were other bombs in the building that day, we would have heard about them.
The second explosive was found and defused. I think he said another bomb.
The Justice Department is reporting that a second explosive device has been found.
They then found a third device, which was also larger than the first.
And I see another bomb truck going, so apparently they're going to try to get out that third bomb.
The FBI claims to have lost the footage showing McVeigh and John Doe number 2 parking the truck in front of the Murrah building that morning, but that's understandable because the Bureau has a lot of important evidence to store. Terry Nichols insists the FBI was involved in the plot, but thankfully a judge has saved us the trouble of listening to him by preventing lawyers from deposing him. There was a bomb squad truck parked across the street 2 hours before the blast, but that just shows the authorities were prepared for anything. And
other documents obtained by 2020 show that someone called the Executive Secretariat's office at the Justice Department in Washington and said the Murrah building had been bombed. But this was 24 minutes before the blast.
But that just shows the public was unusually vigilant that morning. Also,
apparently, before the bombing, Governor Frank Keating's brother, Mark, had been working on a novel about a terrorist bombing in Oklahoma City. Stranger still, one of the characters in the novel was named Thomas McVeigh.
But that's probably just a coincidence. McVeigh wrote a letter to his sister where he admitted to being a secret Special Forces operative, and he complained to friends of the pain in his ass from an Army-implanted microchip, but that's crazy because if he didn't actually leave the Army in 1991, there would be proof of that.
This video is really nice and to the point. I'm sure this other one is good, but it's also like an hour long. And this one has really activated my almonds in only 3 minutes and 13 seconds.
McVeigh was not executed on May 16th, 2001 as scheduled because
the FBI had failed to turn over thousands of pages of evidence to McVeigh's defense attorneys.
But the execution went ahead on June 11th. In a highly unusual and secret agreement, no autopsy was performed. One witness said he was still breathing, and the prison officials admitted his hearse was a decoy. Then, the case was officially closed. And if you question any part of this story, you are a paranoid, wingnut, birther, truther, tenther, prepper, conspiracy loon who'd bring up any of these points ever again.
Real.
Ever.
I certainly wouldn't want to get unsold tonight. You and me both, brother. Oh, this guy. Was this guy a known quantity? Whatever his name was. Above, below. We don't know. All the agents just so happened to be out of the office this day. Oh, where have we heard that before? They're calling it the 9/11 of the West. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Michael Fortier. Who the hell is Michael Fortier?
Indictments are about to be returned in the deadliest terror attack ever in this country, the bombing of the federal building in Oklahoma City, which killed 168 people. All of the suspects in that case are Americans. None have anything to do with Islam. As has been previously reported, an old U.S. Army buddy of the alleged bombers will help the government make its case against them. Correspondent Scott Pelley has more tonight about that.
As early as tomorrow, a federal grand jury is expected to indict 3 men in the Oklahoma terror bombing. The indictments will allege the mass murder was motivated by a hatred of government and financed with the sale of stolen weapons. Prime suspects Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols will be charged in the bombing itself and will face the death penalty. The indictments will allege Nichols helped build the bomb and
Okay. Okay, let's go back to the
telling the truth or lying about what's going on down there. And I did try to press him a little bit, ask him questions, but he didn't seem very willing to talk about it. It was just kind of a comment, you know, it's not what they're portraying it to be. From that point on, it was about 2 or 3 days later, after the bombing, he had asked me to take him down to the site. And mind you, Terry couldn't even walk. He really was not in any shape to go down there. But he kept insisting we needed to go back down there. Said that we needed to go at night when we could not be seen. People wouldn't just recognize us easily. I didn't understand the reason for that, but I didn't ask a lot of questions either because he just seemed unwilling to give a lot of information. We did go down there, probably between 9:30, 10 o'clock, and he said that we were going to go look underneath where the daycare had been. There was something he wanted to see under there and get a picture if possible. As we went down there, we were stopped, and I can't remember which
Did they
person
blow it wide open while I was gone?
it was, but I know definitely it was either ATF or FBI. I just cannot recall what the name was on the back of his jacket, but it was one of the two. And Terry had attempted to badge his way through, and the guy told him no. And he said something a little more specific, like, you're not supposed to be back down here, something along the lines that made me realize the two of them recognized each other, and the interaction was very antagonistic. I think had I not been with Terry, he would have said a little more to the man, and maybe been a little more forceful about getting through, but it seemed like he thought better about it since I was with him, and we left. And then he asked me as we got in the car that I not be seen down at the site.
As Tanya describes it, Yake's state on the drive home was one of intense distress, far beyond the exhaustion from his injuries. It was as though he had seen something in the rubble that had shaken him to his core. Once out of the hospital, he confided in
Hugh needs to practice his detective skills with the official Chrome Boys Detective Agency board game. Coming this Christmas. Yeah, let's go. Tunnels under a daycare next to the federal building. Yes, okay. What's our, I don't know my frickin', where's my notes? I don't need notes. So, okay, what are our clues that we've gathered thus far? Let's use Obsidian. So according to that, 5-minute one, he didn't, let's get a new one going here. New note. Okay, see. A Finders Noid stream would be great. What's that? What's Finders? Is that something I should know about? Okay, so I'll do. Let me get into typing position here. They say Timothy McVeigh bombed the building alone. Based World says no, he didn't make bomb, didn't rent truck, other guy, tunnels. Am I missing anything there? Finders, noise, and founders. I was getting charred for lovely salad, and a Dodge Hellcat almost ran me down. Pretty scared. Some would say spooked. No thanks. When they were unemployed, flipping guns at gun show.
Tanya, claiming it's not what they're saying it is. They're lying about what's going on down there. In the days that followed, Yake's unease only deepened. Though he was barely able to walk, he insisted on returning to the bomb site at night, under cover of darkness, to avoid being seen. At the site, Yake led Tanya toward the area beneath where the daycare had been, a spot he seemed particularly drawn to, though he wouldn't say why. Before they could get close, a law enforcement official stopped them. The officer's words made it clear Yake had no business being there. Despite his initial insistence, he eventually withdrew. As they got back into the car, he urged her to avoid being seen at the site again. It was the beginning of a powerful transformation in
Okay, the Finders were an intentional community and new religious movement founded in Washington, D.C. and Virginia in the late 1960s by former United States Air Force Master Sergeant. The Wikipedia thing cuts off.
Yakey.
Let's see. Let's do a quick glance here. Is this what we're talking about? The Oh, you know what? Here, I have a top chat on. Let me switcheroo it here. Let me get to live chat. Satanic pedo cult in the 80s, underground child transportation at preschools with federal involvement. High speculated until 2017 FBI dropped that. Confirmed it. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, here, I'll add that to the list. I will, future cases. And we'll do a quick little glance here. What are we thinking about Oklahoma City? Is it Noided? Is it accurate? Was it with McVeigh? Was it other? The Finders were an intentional community and new religious movement founded in Washington, D.C. By former United States Air Force Master Sergeant Marion Petty. They believed in New Age and Eastern religious ideas, particularly Taoism. Yeah, I would like to do something on like the Esalen New Age stuff. I did end up watching Men Who Stare at Goats, which was pretty awesome. Good pick. But there's a lot of, why did boomers found so many weird sex cults? That is the question. The Finders came to wider public attention in 1987 with the arrest of 2 members for misdemeanor child abuse, leading to accusations that the group was a satanic cult and an international pedophile ring or a kidnapping ring run by the Central Intelligence Agency. Okay, I've never even heard of these guys. Lesson there. Marion David Petty was born in 1920. He was an officer in the United States Air Force. His wife once worked for CIA. His son worked for Air America, a covert CIA front. Petty referred to himself as the Stroller. Okay. The belief system was kept secret from outsiders. The group's beliefs were eclectic and sourced from a variety of traditions. They combined Eastern religion, Taoism, New Age, and the human potential movement. See, that one's purple. I've looked into that before. Sinister stuff, folks. Petty developed his... Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna... The Finders / New Age-ish. That's a good one to look into. I feel like there's a lot of meat on that bone. Child rearing. In 1980, the group radically changed their child rearing practices to raise a generation of toughened children to replicate what they believed was the original method of living of Native Americans. Children were raised communally instead of by their parents. Many such cases. Okay, yeah, we're this could be a good next case for us. So far on OKC, I don't quite know what to think. Because for why would they blow up this building, you know? And all the videos are like an hour long. I do have a Noid book on it, but I gotta finish my Michael Crichton first. Has anyone ever gotten their car stolen? Some Dodge Hellcats got stolen around town. Many such cases, but wouldn't you know it? I think I saw one. Went to race me home. I'm a squirrel. I can't drive. I remember reading about it 5-7 years ago. I managed to revisit it. The Finders for who? Maybe a little island in the Caribbean? What color was the building? Purple? Good question. Good question. But yeah, we'll I think the New Age movement, the Finders, the Human Potential movement. Good future topic. Good future topic. Well, let me reopen Odyssey here. Oklahoma City bombing. I need one of those websites, OKC bombing truth, with like crazy like blue and red on black text. I don't really like watching like hour-long videos, you know what I mean? But Google is so you know, at this point, that it's borderline non-functional for finding like Noid sources. Yeah, there's fuck all on Google. What's the Yandex? Let's see what Yandex. OKC bombing truth. Libertarian Institute. Full text of Oklahoma City false flag bombing, Clinton, ADL, NDO. Yeah, okay, let's go. Let's go. Oh, this is long as fuck. Holy shit. Okay. The north side of the Albert P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City shows the devastation supposedly caused by a fuel and fertilizer truck bomb. Hidden in plain sight. Winterwatch.com. Ooh, this one has graphics and stuff. Okay, this looks like this could be interesting. This is the truth about Timothy McVeigh and the Oklahoma City bombing. Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh and David Paul Hammer were among the first groups of inmates to be housed in the newly refurbished death row wing of Indiana's Terre Haute Maximum Security Penitentiary, where they were eventually placed in adjacent cells. The two men spent 23 months as neighbors and spoke to one another on an almost daily basis. Oh, yeah, what's that? We got a Nick Fuentes meme of the day. Okay. During Hammer's time on death row at Terre Haute, he wrote 2 books on the Oklahoma City bombing that killed 168, Autobiography, The Final Escape, Secrets Worth Dying For, and Deadly Secrets, Timothy McVeigh and the Oklahoma City Bombing, co-authored with based on first-hand knowledge. Okay, credible source. Deadly Secrets is an incredible, insightful, and I believe credible read. For those who actually do read it, you will see that it is detailed and accurate to such an extent that it seems unlikely to have been written by someone sitting in a maximum security prison without considerable insider input. Hammer writes, with assistance from attorneys and their investigators, and from journalists, I have tried to verify the information McVeigh provided. We have obtained thousands of documents via FOIA requests, attorneys, Timothy McVeigh was no mastermind. Tim had some fine qualities. He was able to follow instructions to the T, but his intelligence was average at best. His communication skills were limited. He was definitely not a leader. If he's not a leader, how could he be a lone wolf? Good question. Besides reading the book, I listened to the entire Horton Hammer interview below and cross-checked it with other clues. In the interview below, Hammer provides the caveat that his information is based upon what McVeigh told him over time. He feels like it's a solid version of the truth with some inconsistencies. McVeigh stated that he was recruited while in the Army by the major, and was sheep-dipped to infiltrate patriot militia groups. He never disclosed the mysterious major by name. His unit was detached to the Defense Department. According to the major, the unit was so secret that even the U.S. Secretary of Defense was unaware of its existence. Okay. This is the good. We're getting to the good-ish here. The major further explained that the agenda for the secret unit was primarily domestic intelligence gathering and internal threat evaluations with an emphasis on direct counteraction operations. Okay, I feel like the pieces are slowly falling into place here. Funding and support for the operations would be provided through sources unconnected to the U.S. government. McVeigh was to familiarize himself with the rhetoric of the extreme right-wing ideology and create the plausible aura of a disgruntled soldier. McVeigh's sidekick, Terry Nichols, said, in December of 1992, Timothy McVeigh told me that while he was serving in the U.S. Army, he had been recruited to carry out undercover missions. What happened immediately after this attack? Did Clinton try and do some pre-Patriot Act thing? What did the government get out of this? Well, okay, so far, what I'm starting to assume from the first couple paragraphs of this article is that, should this be true, which it definitely is, Timothy McVeigh was a deep cover CIA or like shadow forces operative with the sort of government orders to do counteraction operations on domestic extremists. So I would imagine this was sort of that the Oklahoma City bombing would be like a major publicity blow to the like patriot movement, you know. What happened immediately after this attack, I do not know. Like, what were the legal ramifications? But that's what I'm sort of starting to glean from this. Should this article be true, which I think we're all confident it is. Met a Catholic lady in town. Yeah, Catholic ladies do be loving the Chrome Boys. True, real. Hammer suggests McVeigh was a gung-ho military authoritarian follower and had little political affinity. McVeigh was discharged from the military in May 1992, but on August 3rd, 1993, someone who looked and sounded just like him was filmed in uniform at Camp Grafton, North Dakota. Watch such and such in the video below, which we'll check out. In his book, Hammer specifically mentions this camp as a facility McVeigh scouted for explosives. His records states he was discharged from the National Guard duty early before the Camp Grafton cameo. According to a U.S. Defense Department record, McVeigh held secret clearance. Okay. The FBI's PATCON plan was to infiltrate and discredit right-wing militia movements in the 1990s. In fact, a 4-page teletype letter written by FBI Director Louis Freeh is a federal document obtained via a FOIA request, contains several references to an FBI undercover operation at Elohim City before the bombing. With this teletype, and for the first time, there was clear evidence that an informant operation was conducted by the attorney Morris Dees' organization, the Southern Poverty Law Center. The teletype repeatedly refers to OK Bomb subject Timothy McVeigh as well as Bomb Rob subjects. When the militia undertook bank robberies, McVeigh proclaimed, "Everyone was impressed when I was able to secure the radio frequencies for the FBI and the ATF. The major provided these to him." Several individuals besides McVeigh were involved in the bombing. In fact, McVeigh's truck bomb was deemed ineffectual for the type of blast rendered. This is well covered in The Noble Lie of such and such a video. Okay, here we have a screenshot of something. I don't quite know what this is. I believe that the demolitions charges in the building that were placed inside at certain key concrete columns did the primary damage to the Murrah Federal Building. It would have been absolutely impossible and against the laws of nature for a truck full of fertilizer and oil, no matter how much was used, to bring the building down. I mean, the explosion, let's see, like, OKC bomb building. Because, like, the explosion does look, and listen, I'm not an explosions expert, but that is, that seems like a somewhat strange, like, blast pattern for just, well, we've got this picture in a new tab here. Like, it's sort of peculiar blast pattern for, like, a truck parked there, no? I mean, like, the whole front of the building is all fucked up, but there's not, like, at least, I don't know, maybe there's, like, a crater there, but it's a lot for, a truck bomb parked out front. So this guy was a spy for the deep state, used to infiltrate militias and undercover and the military. I was meant to be a fall guy, but he fucked it up. Well, I don't know. Maybe he fucked it up. Maybe he didn't. I mean, it might have been that the goal was to discredit right-wing, like the right-wing militia movement in the 90s, which was sort of a hot topic with, you know, Waco and Ruby Ridge and all that. So it might be, you know, Noid hats on, that it might be, or what this seems to be implying is that he was an intelligence operative who did carry out his mission, and then was also the fall guy, or maybe they executed a clone, perhaps? I don't quite know. But that seems to be what's being implied here. McVeigh states that John Doe's number 2 and 3 were Michael Bresica and Richard Guthrie, along with a German, one Andreas Straussmeyer, heading the so-called Aryan Republican Army's military wing. McVeigh's defense attorney, Stephen Jones, stated that there were 6 to 8 core individuals involved in the plot. Par for the course and shades of the Pentagon on 9/11, CCTV footage of McVeigh's truck in front of the Murrah building is missing. The public was told that 4 cameras in 4 locations went blank at basically the same time on the morning of April 19th, 1995. The FBI claims the security cameras did not record just prior to the blast or during the blast because they had run out of tape or the tape was being replaced. Very convenient. Where have we heard that before? One interesting aspect of all the tapes is that they suddenly begin recording again right after the 9:02 a.m. blast. Yet there is no footage of the truck pulling up to the building, parking, or of the multiple passengers exiting the truck as seen and attested to by a number of eyewitnesses who can be viewed in the Noble Eye documentary. Hammer's book discusses a large trail back to others, but the government never pursued them for the OKC bombing. Therefore, no one could conclude that most of this violent, lethal militia story was a facade of COINTEL agents, criminal informants. They were taken down for bank robberies and other crimes. One of the John Does, Guthrie, was found dead. If they were part of the Aryan Army, why would they do this the day before Hitler's birthday? Why wouldn't they? But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure if those guys were also supposedly deep state plants, or I'm not too sure. But there might be significance to that. There may well be. One of the John Does was found dead in a Kenton County, Kentucky jail cell on July 12, 1996. His death was ruled a suicide by hanging, but the circumstances were suspicious. The other Doe, Brescia, who was 25 years old at the time of his sentencing, received a term of 5 years for bank robbery. Hammer offers his own theory. These weren't just informants. They were criminals committing criminal acts, sometimes, apparently, while in their capacity as informants. Members of the ARA, working in groups, were responsible for robbing at least 22 banks in several different states from January 1994 to December 1995. They stole at least $250,000 during their robberies. Okay. The FBI investigated links between the ARA and the Oklahoma City bombing, but FBI records demonstrating this fact were hidden and not discovered until years later when attorney Jesse Trentadue uncovered them. Okay. Hammer writes that whenever he suggested to McVeigh that he may have been set up as a patsy, McVeigh would get very angry at him. Okay. Interesting. McVeigh revealed he was handed $50,000 to begin his mission of hobnobbing with other agents and informants at militia meetings and gun shows. When he penetrated the Elohim City group, the joke was that there were more co-intel agents than real militia, so much so that it was known as Alphabet City. Was Elohim City little more than a deep state creation? Sorry, what is Elohim City? Is that just like a city someplace? Okay, it is. It's just, it's a private community. Miller, Canadian immigrant, Mennonite, Christian identity movement, ties to the order. Okay, so it's, I think it's some compound in Oklahoma, I believe, is what I'm getting from that. Okay. But that might just be a deep state creation. In the lead up to the April 19th, 1995 bombing, federal law enforcement was receiving ample intel about what was being planned. I wonder what etymological roots the name of that city has. Well, according to this, it's somewhere I saw it's like city of God or something. What is it, J-ish? Does Canada have any conspiracies? I feel like all Noid Stream topics are American-centric. Does Canada have any conspiracies? I mean, I would say in general we're probably a less conspiratorial people than the Americans. You know, you guys are, what is it, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, whereas we are peace, order, and good government. And, you know, I mean, historically, Canada is a less individualistic culture. More sort of communitarian, I guess, which could, you know, we were founded as a explicitly anti-revolutionary country. So in general, I'd say we're less conspiratorial. We do have some, like there's a whole Nova Scotia shooting thing a couple years ago that was quite strange. Canadian conspiracy. There's probably some, though. I mean, there's this movie, The Canadian Conspiracy. Though, I mean, I think a lot of our stuff kind of just takes place in plain sight, you know? Like, our like, elites are actively working to do you-know-what to us. And it's kind of just in, like, full plain view. So, I don't know. Yes and no. Nothing really springs to mind. but I'm sure there's some. I mean, I think in general, America is just a more noided country than us. But there must be like various global ones that aren't American. Like Europe must have its fair share of noid stuff. I wouldn't know about the rest of the world. Or like Japan probably does. Canadian conspiracy theory. We're so like mind-art by America though that like we're basically an offshoot at this point, psychically speaking. Cause see, like this is all like 5G, QAnon, like I don't know, it's all American stuff. If only there was a quick Abramist we could ask his raps or boss. Okay, the federal law enforcement was receiving ample intel about what was being planned. McVeigh commented to Hammer on his bomb assembling, drug dealing, and bank robberies. The feds are like Keystone cops. They can't do shit unless they have some informant doing their job for them. I was all across the country doing these jobs. McVeigh thought Andreas Straussmeer was working for some other entity. Straussmeer was a very unusual character. He was the son of Gunter Straussmeer, who was the chief of staff to German Chancellor Helmut Kohl. Straussmeer joined the German army and after 7 years became a lieutenant in the Panzer Grenadiers. He left the army in 1988. He was a member of an evangelical Christian church. By his own account, he lived for a time in a kibbutz in Israel. Mainstream media had little to say about him, which is unusual given the multiple claims that he worked for the FBI. He returned to Germany soon after the Oklahoma City bombing. J.D. Cash, cool name, wrote in the McCurtain magazine that a highly placed FBI official had confirmed that Andreas Straussmeer was a paid government informant and agent provocateur sent to infiltrate Elohim City. It always comes back to the nose. Yeah, what do you know? In 2009, in response to a FOIA request on Straussmeer, the CIA reported that it had found 26 documents. The CIA refused to turn the documents over, however. Here's why. The National Geospatial Intelligence Agency? The hell is that? Which reviewed the documents at CIA request, advised that releasing them could cause grave damage to our national security. McVeigh purchased a bulk load of meth from Straussmeer in Elohim City. He distributed it to expand his criminal network and used some personally. A number were speed freaks. The people McVeigh tried to recruit were little more than a criminal gang posing as a militia patriot group. These guys were, for the most part, lifetime fuck-ups, not trained and disciplined soldiers, ready for action anytime or anywhere, McVeigh said. They seemed like a lot of talkers. We did, speaking of, this reminds me of a sort of Canadian conspiracy where, I think it was CSIS, or maybe it was the RCMP, back in the sort of Muslim heyday, in the 2000s, basically set up, not to put too fine a point on it, but like a homeless retarded couple, and kind of set them up to do a bombing that they had zero capacity to pull off, and then once it was kind of set up by an RCMP agent, arrested them. So there was that. This kind of reminds me of that to some extent. McVeigh's evaluation of ARA members was very different. Those guys, even Langan, were well disciplined. Ask yourself this: how did they get that way? Fucking practice, he told Hammer. Subsequent research by Hammer and his people on the outside revealed that many of the fuck-ups McVeigh tried to ensnare in the bomb plot thought McVeigh was a government agent, which he was. Okay. A lot of explosive reveals in this article thus far. At a March 17th, 1995 meeting in Las Vegas, the Major introduced McVeigh to a man he referred to as Poindexter. According to McVeigh, Poindexter was the Major's choice for building the bombs. Bombs, plural. There would be more than one. McVeigh told Hammer he selected Bressica as the main person to assist him in delivering the truck bomb to the target. So the thing that I'm a little perplexed on still is, like, assuming all this is true, and I believe it. I believe that it is so. Why did McVeigh do the bombing? Like, what was his motivation for doing so? If he's a government agent, I mean, it could be. I can see the government's motive for wanting, like, a big, catastrophic right-wing militia group terrorist attack. It makes sets up the villains, justifies future actions, etc. Why does McVeigh go along with it, though? Is what I wonder here. Poindexter. There's more than one. Okay, system with one. Reporter J.D. Cash verified McVeigh's claims that he met with Strassmeyer and Bressica on April 8th. Cash was the first reporter to discover the existence of at least 5 dancers at Lady Godiva's strip club in Tulsa, Oklahoma, who identified all 3 men as being in the club that night. According to McVeigh, the Ryder moving truck, seen by eyewitnesses parked at Geary State Park in Kansas for a few days, was a decoy. The truck was purposely placed there in plain sight. McVeigh said that Bressica drove the newly painted decoy from Tulsa to Junction City. The Daily Telegraph also ran an interview with an eyewitness named Connie Smith, who said, "I kept telling them that the man in the John Doe 2 sketch was that Mike guy, a nice-looking guy, dark-skinned, but the FBI made me feel guilty, then ignorant, as if I didn't know what I was saying. Then later I tried to call in with more information, and they wouldn't even talk to me." Okay, so here's interesting. Very interesting. Here are some sketches of Andreas Strassmeyer compared to the sketch of John Doe number 2, as seen in the thumbnail of this video. Isn't Windsor a Canadian city? Yes. Where are all these based RN super soldiers now? Smells fishy, as I know very few actual RN groups that aren't honeypots now 30 plus years later. I mean, maybe it was the same then as it is now, and it's all honeypots all the way down. After the bomb was assembled by Poindexter at the warehouse in Oklahoma City, the Major, along with his associate Roberto, who McVeigh had met 2 years earlier in New Jersey, arrived. As McVeigh and the Major talked, Roberto walked up behind Poindexter, who stood admiring his work, and in one swift motion cut his throat from ear to ear. REN groups are cringe AF, lol. Yeah, I mean, I think at this stage in the game, if you're in some group called REN, whatever, like, you're wasting your time, brother. It ain't gonna come in that direction. McVeigh recalled, "I jumped, but the Major placed his hand on my shoulder and said, 'Soldier, he was only hired help, not one of us.'" Well, that's crazy. They had Poindexter build the bomb, and then the Major brought in Roberto to slit his throat in one swift motion. Okay, this is explosive stuff, folks. McVeigh recalled, I jumped, we already read that. McVeigh and Roberto loaded the body into the Ryder truck with it. Why is McVeigh going along with this, though? That's what I'm wondering here. Loaded the body into the Ryder truck with a bomb. After the bombing, an unmatched lower left leg was found in the rubble. McVeigh placed a padlock on the door of the truck's large cargo bay, and they all left the warehouse. Note, Hammer, in the interview, said he had some doubts about the Poindexter part of the story. Okay. McVeigh learned from the major that other members of the elite unit had installed C4 explosives inside the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in order to ensure maximum damage from the explosion. Okay. When McVeigh was arrested on the highway while driving back to Kansas, his act was in full gear. He was wearing a t-shirt bearing a picture of Abraham Lincoln. As we learned last week, Abraham Lincoln. Much to think about. On the front, and with presidential assassin John Wilkes Booth's words, Sic Semper Tyrannis, printed on it. The back of the t-shirt featured a picture of a tree with red blood droplets, along with this Thomas Jefferson quotation, "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." McVeigh went on to say, I was never trying to escape capture. My arrest was all part of the mission. The bombing had to land squarely at the feet of someone involved with the anti-government movement. I had left a paper trail that even a blind man could follow. Okay, well. Was McVeigh really executed? McVeigh told Hammer and Paul that he believed that his execution would be faked. He even went so far to say his handlers had a drug that closely simulated death and that he would be revived. Hammer had no idea if the Major threw McVeigh under the bus when the time came. If so, McVeigh wouldn't be the first patsy to face such a fate, nor the last. It does seem like if you're the Major in this situation, it does seem a lot more sensible to just like tell him you have this magical, scroll of revival that you're going to use on him, and then you just go through with the execution. That's what I would do if I was the Major. Just saying. McVeigh was handled during incarceration by the notorious Louis Jolly West? That's like isn't this like the MK Ultra guy? I'm pretty sure that's the MK Ultra guy. Okay. On the very day of the Oklahoma City bombing, Dr. West went on the Larry King Show to talk about alleged bomber Timothy McVeigh, characterizing the alleged perp as one more lone nut. West was an MK Ultra psychiatrist who had handled Jack Ruby and Sirhan and had interrogated Patty Hearst. He was a consultant of some undetermined type in the Charles Manson Helter-Skelter murders. West also served as a director of the False Memory Syndrome Foundation, an organization founded by pedophile apologists that marginalize victims of ritual abuse and smears their advocates. Okay. The execution did have some dicey aspects. Several eyewitnesses said they saw no signs of actual death and that he was covered from chin to toe with a sheet. He didn't want an autopsy, and his ashes were reportedly turned over to his lawyers after a quick cremation. Quote, in fact, it was hard to even tell when he had passed on because of his shallow breathing, or what appeared to be shallow breathing, continued, even after they pronounced him dead, and his eyes remained open the entire time. I don't think he blinked. This is some lady. Hugh, I'm sorry. Yep, I always break. Hooky-looking McVeigh morgue photo with enormous neck tendons. Hooky? I don't know that word. If Timmy was revived, would he have been recycled for another in-your-face Black Ops assignments? Huh, okay. Much much to consider in that article there. Oh, so this is insinuating that that's him at a Occupy Wall Street protest? Let's take a closer look at this. What do we think about this, boys? Is that the same guy? Where's the Occupy White House protests? Good question. Could be, yeah. I mean, similar kind of mouth, I guess. It would be a kind of odd move, of, you know, you go through all this rigmarole, doing the whole Oklahoma City bombing, fake executing Timothy McVeigh, and then you activate him almost 20 years later to just, like, be some guy at Occupy Wall Street? And yeah, that's a good point, too. He would be in his mid-40s, because this is, like, 20 years later. And was there some big thing that, like, guy in bandana and hat did at Occupy? But I gotta say, shout out Yandex for being a search engine that you can actually search for Noid topics on, unlike Google, which has totally purged any such thing. Okay. I mean, it took a minute, but this article really did make me think about Oklahoma City. It's an interesting website. What's going on? Winter Watch, speaking truth to power. Phony Gaza ceasefire. Cool website. Okay, well, yeah, you know what? Much to consider there. I'll ponder it. I think that's about all for me tonight, fellas. They accidentally reuse Golem agents all the time. Great recent example is the VP candidates Tim Kaine and Tim Waltz. Are they the same guy? Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain. Let's watch that quickly. Y'all know what I'm talking about there? Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain. Okay, so oh wow, that is literally Tim Waltz. Well, what the hell is going on? They even forgot to change his name. I mean, I'm sorry, but that is clearly the same guy, but slightly more Norwooded plus glasses. Yes, the Golem has been reused.
Now, people backstage are talking about this show called Hamilton. I haven't seen it. Good? All right, I haven't seen it. But anyone who has seen Hamilton you have to be struck by the parallels between the politics of a little over 200 years ago and...
Why are they pausing the video? Why would the deep state do this?
So back then, they had stolen correspondence and a foreign nation meddling in our affairs. WikiLeaks in Russia, hello. And then they had a rich New Yorker whose lack of morals led to political ruin. Hello. And they had a famous duel where the Democrat mortally wounded his opponent, sort of like what Hillary did to Donald at the debates. So basically, everything old is new again. Now, the genius behind Hamilton, he's had a pretty good run. He's won a Pulitzer Prize, 2 Grammys, an Emmy, 3 Tony Awards, which has got to give him some major bragging rights at his next high school reunion.
You don't hear much about that these days.
Please welcome an incredibly talented man and a wonderful man, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Speaking of
and with him,
agents,
And with him on stage, a Tony Award-winning Schuyler sister, Renee Elise Goldsberry.
Oh, man.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 things you need to do.
Number 1.
You register to vote and it's on. You post that Hillary sign up on your lawn.
Number 2.
Call some undecideds with your crew. Your cousins in Ohio, maybe try and flip them blue.
Number 3.
Watch Hillary examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain. Number 4.
Hillary makes each decision, looking at the world from a rarefied position. A public servant with tenacity, agility.
Mi gente, experience is not a liability. 5. Now we all know this is the time when the other side tries to fly low, we go high.
6.
We know that our Hillary's no quitter. We watch as her opponent sits and fiddles with his Twitter.
7.
Confession time, all in a burst. I wanna vote the candidate puts our kids first.
November 8.
Your last chance to participate.
Isn't he
Roll
Mexican?
up to your polling place, vote up in your home
I'm
state.
sure he's some type of Mexican.
And it's down to the nitty gritty. 3 weeks to go. Are you ready, New York City? Yes, in a world gone berserk.
Hillary rolls up her sleeves and goes to work.
I have only one overwhelming feeling. Anybody here want to shatter a glass ceiling?
9.
Look 'em in the eye, clear your throat. Summon all the time you can devote. Then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 10 paces vote.
I feel like the legacy of Lin-Manuel Miranda has been, now that he's, been reduced back to the clay from whence he came. I mean, let's be real. Kendrick Lamar is the modern Lin-Manuel Miranda. Right? Can we all agree on that? Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine on the brain. And yeah, they just rehashed him as Tim Waltz. Slightly bald plus glasses, but clearly the same guy. But yeah, remember when Lin-Manuel Miranda was a time? What a time that was. Anyway, lads, I think that's all for me. What are we thinking? Do we want to continue Oklahoma next week, or do we want to move on to the Finders / Human Potential Movement / New Age boomer sex cults? What are we thinking? Dude, I feel to some extent that this article on Oklahoma City basically blew the whole thing wide open. Basically blew the whole thing wide open. I feel relatively satiated on the Oklahoma City bombing. I think we've discovered most of what there is to be discovered. I think we need to gub max. Yeah, maybe I'll make a channel so people can submit gubs. Because I don't have the hookup for gubs. I don't have the algo finely tuned to maximize gubs. But I do be liking looking at gubs. But I might have to crowdsource some gubs. But I think I personally am satisfied with saying case closed on the Oklahoma City bombing case. I think we've solved the mystery. It was the Major and Poindexter and Roberto. And then Timothy McVeigh reappeared decades later at Occupy Wall Street for sinister reasons. But yeah, next week maybe we'll do some New Age stuff if we can find some some Kino Gub-Gubs. Maybe we'll look into that as well. Okay, well, I think that will be all for tonight. We saw some good Gub-Gubs. We blew some things wide open. Yeah. All right. Take care, lads. 07s all around. Patreon episode will be up shortly. All right. Take care, lads. Thank you for joining me. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.